I'm sitting here with Beth Bruno of A Face to Reframe, and wonder if you could tell us how you got started with this vision.
Well, I had a passion for photography. That was my hobby, and I was starting to pursue it more seriously. But I also had this passion for social justice and social change, and was learning about just what was going on in the world, and had a passion for that too. I was trying to figure out how the two might be combined. And I started a master's degree in international community development. Just began learning a little bit more about how real sustainable change and transformation happens in communities, and that it happens best when the community members themselves are the ones that are authoring that change and really advocating for themselves. And so, I started by thinking I was going to be the photographer. I was going to be the one that was capturing their stories, and I began to realize that it needed to be them. They needed to be the ones who authored their stories and became the ones to document their lives and advocate for their own change. And so that's how A Face to Reframe began.
So what do you actually do with the participants?
Well, first of all, I should say that we always partner with a community organization, with a group of people who are cultural experts on the ground long-term, working with the population, and they just have a desire to do something different, to engage the people that they're working with in a different kind of way. And so we co-design a project for them, working with this marginalized group, usually women and children. And we have different outcomes. Sometimes it's advocacy, sometimes it's just therapeutic. It's just about empowering a group that has historically been broken and marginalized. And so based on the outcomes, we kind of think through what the project might look like. We think through what some of the barriers are with that particular population. Kids living on the street, that might mean transiency. We don't have them for very long, and so it's going to be a shorter, intensive project. With kids who are in a school setting, it gives us a lot more time. And so we tweak it, we create it uniquely for that group, and then we begin. And we start with things that are concrete, and then we try and go into more abstract thinking and reflection, just to get them to be able to start expressing themselves through image making and through their words. We often do a whole self-portrait section where they're able to really express who they are and share that within the group, learn how to do that as a community. And then oftentimes we have a whole social advocacy piece where as a group they're thinking through what's a message that we feel like needs to be heard by a greater audience. How are we misunderstood? How are we misrepresented? And so again, as a group, they're thinking through what that is and how to communicate it. They design what that might look like, and then they go out and they shoot it. They photograph those images, come back and edit together, and then think through the captions and how to best describe that. And then with the photo advocacy piece, there's always an end result, an exhibit or a book of some sort where a larger audience can engage those pictures. And the goal is just that it's no longer an issue. It's not just disabled youth in Turkey or homeless kids in Denver, that it's real people. It's Zach and Tony who are on the street, or it's Tuba and Tuche who are wheelchair bound in a country that has no handicapped accessibility. And when you engage a person and their story and their face, you don't think about the issue in the same way again. And so ultimately, our goal is to reframe them with dignity. And that's a bit about the process and how we go about doing it.